All right, here we are, everyone. We're discussing one of the big ones today. I think this one is up there probably with railways in terms of just like overall impact on the strength of your country. But of course, it comes with this caveat that, unlike, well, sort of like railways, where railways is something that is going to be strongest whenever you need it to deal with infrastructure problems, egalitarianism is strongest whenever you're ready to push for the laws that are associated with it. So, egalitarianism, what does it do for you? It gets you minimum expected standard of living from literacy. Whatever. That's super whatever. But it gets you three incredibly powerful laws and access to a party. So the party, if for those of you who are unfamiliar with party formation, I do have a video on party formation, but there's also a great article in the Vicky wiki. But basically, it's going to be critical for these people to actually accumulate votes because they can't get the clout from the people who would support them without a party to associate with. And the Progressive Club is going to give you an opportunity to associate all the people who would be like normally fans of Robespierre. And those are the sorts of people who are going to push for the other laws that are here. And the other laws that are here are very powerful. Multiculturalism, for those of you who do not understand the impact on the way people are tolerated in your country, I would recommend that you watch my video on migration laws and the video on citizenship laws. But basically, unless you are specifically somewhere in either East Asia or possibly South Asia, chances are pretty good that you want to be in multiculturalism just so you can tolerate those people and their heritage group, because those are really big populations. There's like everybody lives in China, right? Everybody lives in China. So if you cannot tolerate the Chinese naturally using anything other than multiculturalism, then you need to go to multiculturalism, because that's where all the humans are, and you need all the humans in order to be strong. Universal suffrage changes up the nature of your elections pretty significantly. So in any country that starts with some sort of democracy, which I don't know why they do this. I don't know why you do this, Paradox. But anytime you switch over to like a different kind of election, there's different rules in regards to the political strength distribution. Wealth voting, a lot of people are going to start with it. It means that there's a wealth threshold for voting, whereas universal suffrage is just political strength from votes. So if you want to make your trade unions more powerful, then you want to be in universal suffrage, because that means that these trade unions, despite having very poor pops working or like serving it, they will get a lot of extra strength, right? Because you see that here the industrialists have 57K supporting them, 145K supporting them. Universal suffrage means, hey, trade unions, the fact that there are more of you matters now. The fact that they have more money is less important. And that's true the further you go down on this list. And then, of course, the other, like, perhaps even the most important thing is proportional taxation. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the difference between per capita and proportional, you just mouse over it and just like keep an eye on what this delta is, the change in revenue from current tax law. And as that goes up, then obviously like the cost of not being in proportional taxation is kind of going up. But it's not just that. It's also where the taxes are landing. Per capita taxes and land taxes obviously hurt your lower strata pops, your poorer pops more, whereas income tax and consumption taxes, depending on where your consumption taxes are targeted, are generally going to hurt your richer pops more. And so the fact that proportional taxation drops this per capita tax is generally going to bring up your average standard of living, and not to mention it's gonna allow you to tax profitable buildings because of the addition of this dividends tax rate. And right now, as France, that's not like a big deal, but you know, after 10 years of industrialization, you'll see it is in fact a huge deal. So egalitarianism, it's kind of hard to necessarily say you should rush it, because all of the things that it offers you are things that are not like just click a button, right? Like in order to get into multiculturalism, you do need to pass the law. And right now in France, there's really only the Intelligentsia supporting it. So by highlighting it here as a critical technology, this one I'm telling you not necessarily to rush, but to be aware that if you start to industrialize and liberalize, you are 1,000% going to need this technology. And so if you don't get it by like tech drift or something like that, you most likely will need to research this in the 1840s probably, because especially as somebody who starts as a great power, you might even literally start with it. But in any case, even if you don't start with it, you're going to need these laws, and you're going to need them pretty soon if you want to make your country strong. Okay, that's Walker. That's egalitarianism. Take care.